guys, firstly I just want to say if you can hear some really strange noises, that would be my cat. She makes a lot of weird noises. I feel like it's been a while since I made a sort of serious talking video. I've been really enjoying doing like fashion videos and stuff like that lately, but there are a ton of videos and topics that I have been meaning to talk about for like years, and yet I just put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And that brings us on to today's video. So if you have no idea who the fuck I am, then fair enough. Hello, nice to meet you. I am Katherine. I am 22 years old and I live in England. I'm from England, and 11 months ago I was diagnosed with ADHD. So I was 21, and it was literally like 3 months after I'd finished university, finished my entire education life, just to then finally find out that I in fact have ADHD. That is what we're going to be talking about in this video, as the title suggests, going through my entire education and my entire life without knowing that I had undiagnosed ADHD. So the whole reason I found out and got into, started looking into this was because my dad was diagnosed with it. A lot of the things that he struggled with, he recognised in me, and I read up on it and it made a lot of sense. It was a long time getting a diagnosis. I was on a waiting list for 12 months after trying to get referred for about 2 months. And then once I actually got the assessment meeting, it was about 40 minutes talking to this specialist, and they just sort of have a conversation with you, ask you about your life, ask you about your childhood, your schoolwork, teachers, friends, comments people would make, things that I struggle with, things that I enjoy, blah 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 blah. And the entire time they're also assessing you and your behaviour and how you are communicating, and at the end of it he's just like, yep, you have ADHD, and I'm just like, okay. So yeah, I just want to talk about my experience with that, especially because when it comes to stuff like ADHD and autism, and which I'll get onto at another time, when it comes to things like that, what people know is largely based on boys, because that's what all the research was done on. So a lot of doctors, a lot of teachers, anyone who actually knows what ADHD and autism is, a lot of the time they actually only know about what it's like for boys and men, and not what it's actually like for girls and women, because it does differ. There are a lot of differences. There's a lot of similarities, but there are a lot of differences in how it shows itself and how we sort of deal with it, I suppose. So I think the first thing I want to do is just explain what life was like for me at school in regards to my ADHD that nobody knew about. So ever since I can remember, I was always being told to look to the front, pay attention, stop talking, stop staring out of the window, stop rocking on my chair, stop doodling, stop playing with things, stop tapping, constantly, like from like tiny person to like all the way up through my entire education, always told that. I would always be staring out of the window, I'd always be daydreaming, I'd always be falling asleep and actually dreaming. I would always be talking too loud, and a lot of the time I wasn't purposefully trying to talk over the teacher. I just genuinely had not processed the fact that the teacher was talking and that everybody else had stopped. So like a lot of the time when I'd be like called out for it, I was like, oh shit, sorry, like, and nobody believes that. Like if I say I didn't notice, they're like, but auditory processing is an issue for some people. I'm using my brother's glass, he really wants that back. Anyway, and in every single report I got by every teacher in every class, Every year it was, Katherine needs to concentrate more, Katherine needs to apply herself more, Katherine could do so much better if she would stop procrastinating and get things done on time, yada 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 yada. It was just like, I knew what to expect every single time because it was the same thing every single time. And like, it was hard because at the time, it was hard because I am classed as high functioning and I am an intelligent person. I will not deny that. I was able to get good grades in things. I was able to be in the top sets for everything. But I struggled with concentration hugely. And nobody picked up on it my entire school life. It was always just my fault for not concentrating hard enough and not trying hard enough. And at no point from foundation or nursery or whatever, straight up until my degree, did no one ever take me aside and just say, hey, are you struggling? Like, is there a problem? And if I actually said to them out of my own free will, I am struggling to concentrate, I'd just get, just try harder. Just try harder. Just try harder. You know, just try harder to not have ADHD is basically what I was being told. And it's hard because a lot of people don't really understand ADHD, and especially with like in places like America, it is very overdiagnosed with hyperactive kids, whereas in England it's very underdiagnosed. And there are a lot of people, I'm just sat here stroking my cat's stomach, and I have seen a lot of comments on a lot of posts and stuff of just tons and tons of parents being like, ADHD isn't real, you just need to stop feeding your kids sweets, blah 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 blah. And that is where the stereotype of ADHD comes from, of just kids being hyperactive. But that's actually such a minute part of the entire problem, the entire condition. I don't know what you want to call it. Is it a condition? Learning disability? Brain? Like, your brain is different. My brain is physically different than someone who doesn't have ADHD. It's not a personality trait. It's not a mood. It's not a lack of sleep. It's not a excess of sugar. It is a fucking different brain. Like, it's wired differently. It works differently. Some bits work better than others, and some bits are just fucking shit. Hyperactiveness, for me, is not a huge problem. Because you have ADHD, you have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and you can also just have attention deficit disorder. But hyperactivity doesn't have to be physical, it can also be mental. It can be just your thoughts being hyperactive rather than your body and running around and screaming like a 5-year-old boy. But also, I would always be tapping my foot. All the time. All the fucking time. Like, everyone says, oh yeah, I always tap my foot, but like, if everyone taps their foot and nobody picks up on it, then how much must I be tapping my foot all of the time to always be the only person who it's ever picked up on? Like, people would say it in class, like, oh yeah, Katherine's always tapping her foot. Who's tapping the table? Probably Katherine. Like, it was a known thing that I just did that all the fucking time, and it is very annoying. And it is this sort of like restlessness in your whole being that you just like, you need to get this energy out and there's nowhere for it to go. And then at the same time, I can also have absolutely no energy. I can be absolutely fucking flatlined for no apparent reason. And that's the thing, like, with things like mental illness and learning difficulties and anything like that that affects the brain, it can, a lot of the time, seem to be appearing out of nowhere. It just sort of brings itself on. It flares up. That's what a flare-up is. That's what an episode is. It's just it coming out of its fucking head full force without any warning. And you can't do it. You can't just snap out of it. You can't just avoid it. Like, those things fucking happen. And, you know, when you say, oh my god, I'm just suddenly for no reason. Well, my reason is that I have ADHD. That is the reason. So I can be super fucking hyper and ridiculous and like an idiot. Or I can be absolutely like dead, no energy, miserable, lifeless. Well, to be honest, I was more miserable before I was on antidepressants, but I've been on antidepressants for about 2 years now, so I'm a lot better than I used to be. But that's not entirely about ADHD. I'm thinking of keeping all these bits in, because in my usual videos I cut everything out. That is just like me going off on a tangent, me getting stuck, me getting distracted by something, me staring off into the distance, me zoning out. I cut all of that shit out. You know, I make it look like I'm able to talk, but I can't. I struggle with that, and it's really fucking annoying because I have a lot of things to say and it feels like my fucking brain and mouth can't bloody find a level, and one's always going faster than the other, and it's just you know, it's hard. It is also very likely that this video is going to be all over the place, and I do apologise for that, but at the same time I've been putting it off for so long because I was so anxious about how it was going to turn out and if I was going to include anything, that I just honestly have to stop giving a shit and just do it. So maybe I'll make a part 2 if I watch this back and a load of you say that I completely missed something or have a load of questions because I forgot to mention something. Then we'll deal with that when we get there. So I think one of the most frustrating things for me about having ADHD is the wasted time, because it's a lot. So there's something called executive dysfunction. That is basically like your prefrontal cortex or prefrontal lobe, whatever the thing. You can Google it. I know what I'm talking about. Deals with prioritizing things, making decisions, starting projects, yada yada yada, and that is my massive downfall. I will just spend time doing absolutely nothing, and when I say nothing, I mean nothing, and it's almost like I need to waste all of that time in order for like 3 days later my brain to finally kick into gear and for me to do something. And you know, a lot of people say, oh my god, yeah, I procrastinate too so much. And it's like, I'm not procrastinating. I'm not putting it off because there's other stuff I'd rather do. Because I'm not even doing those things that I want to do. Like, it's not fun whatsoever. It's a bit like when someone says to someone who's got fatigue, oh my god, I wish I could sleep so much, you're so lucky. Bitch, I don't want to sleep that much. I don't want to have to sleep that much. Like, some people just say the most dumb fucking ignorant shit. Like, I have a lot of things I want to do, and I feel like I'm always just running out of time. Time is always just getting away from me, and I am terrified of waking up one day and realising I fucked it up yet again, because every single time I plan to do something, I plan time for something, and I just want to do it. There's something on the floor that looks like a dead spider, and I can't tell if it's dead spider or hair, but if it is a dead spider, then that means I must have stood on it because it's really flat, and that's like gross. I can't stop staring at it. Nope, it's hair. We're good. It's just hair. Okay, I'm gonna put that in the bin. What was I saying? Fuck it up. Fuck it. Right, so every time I plan to do something, and I'll write it in my... Right, this is the thing as well. It's like, therapy has been useless for me because I already do the things that they teach you to do to help you cope. But they don't work! Like, I do not need to learn how to keep a schedule. I know how to write out my fucking tasks in a diary. That's not the problem. Like, yes, it helps, but only to a certain extent. And I have wasted too much fucking time in therapy and counselling to be told the same things over and over again. And when you tell them, oh yeah, I've already tried that, they just say, maybe just try it again. And I'm like... So, yeah, I do that. I am one of the most organised people you will ever meet. I write everything down. My phone is my life. I write everything in my phone calendar, from plans with friends to what time I need to poop. Okay? I'll write that in my phone, by the way. I will designate time to poop. I will designate time to brush my teeth. I will write in my calendar what time I need to sleep, what time I need to get dressed, what time I need to feed the cat, what time I need to start thinking about ready, to then start getting ready, to start leaving, to actually leave. Like, everything needs to be written down for me because my brain will just not compute it when it needs to actually happen, and I panic and get anxiety and get all worked up, and then I realise I've been sat on my bed staring at a wall for an hour and I'm late anyway. It's super fun. So I do all of that, but then when it comes to actually putting that diary or that plan into action, that's where it falls short, because I will look at these things and it's almost like it's in a different language. It's like I can read the words, but like it's doing nothing to me. Like, I'm reading like, oh shit, I need to leave in 5 minutes, and yet I somehow feel this weird like sense of being paralysed, where I'm just sort of like, this is telling me I need to do something, and it's like, I know what I need to do, but I don't know what I need to do, and I don't understand how I'm supposed to get myself to do that, because I can't do anything right now. And I'm just there, like, in a fucking standstill. And it's just like, it's just the most dumbest fucking thing. And it makes me feel stupid. And like, one of the hardest things about ADHD is it making me feel stupid. And I joke about it all the time. I call myself stupid all the time. But it's just, honestly, just a defense mechanism. I mean, I enjoy those jokes. I do find them funny. You know, I call myself a fucking idiot because I am. But I think that's just my way of dealing with the fact that I do idiotic things. And it's not because I'm not intelligent, because I know I'm an intelligent person, but I am a fucking idiot. I have a really bad memory. Like, I have really bad facial memory as well, so I'll be staring at someone that is like trying to talk to me, trying for the life of me to figure out who the fuck they are. Nightmare. Especially working in a salon where you see new faces all the time. They're like, oh hi Katherine, and I'm like, I'm really bad at remembering things, especially if someone gives me like an order and they say, can you go and get this and then do this? My brain will only remember like one of that, but I'll walk away completely thinking I've remembered it, and I'll get there and I'll be like, wait, what? what am I doing? Like, it's fucking annoying. Like, I will get asked to do something and I will leave the room with the intention of going to do that, and as soon as I get into that room, I've forgotten what the fuck I was asked to go in there for, because I was just so focused on the first part of the task, which was to get to the other room, that once I'm there, I'm sort of like, wait, what was the next, where, what? Like, I need everything written down for me. Like, I need instructions in a fucking bullet point list. Like, and it makes me feel stupid. It like, especially because growing up as a kid, I was always praised for being intelligent. And I was one of the nerds. And I was in top class. I was in top set for everything. And that was because I'm an intelligent person. I know that makes me sound really fucking big-headed, but I don't see why I can't praise myself and belittle myself. You know, it's got to be a healthy balance. So, but because I started off as an intelligent kid, as the work got harder and the time got shorter and the workload got bigger, I struggled more and more and more, and yet for some reason this intelligent child just haunted me for my entire school life. I've always like, you need to be as smart as me, but my brain was like, it's not happening. It's not happening. This shit's getting harder now, and I can't keep up. But nobody's gonna notice because I'm a smart one, and I've just got to be smart, and I've just got to do everything right, and I can't struggle. If I'm struggling, it's just because I'm not trying hard enough. Female ADHD symptoms. Women with ADHD are more prone to eating disorders, obesity, low self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. That's fun. Do you know, I find it really ironic how ADHD makes it hard to read through big pieces of texts, and yet all of these articles are just big pieces of text. Like, just give me a list. This is on verywellmind.com. Signs to look out for. Not all girls with ADHD will exhibit all of the following signs and symptoms. Conversely, having one or two of these does not equal an ADHD diagnosis. Remember that, guys, who want to be fucking relatable and be like, oh my god, yeah, I struggle to concentrate too, and I daydream all the time. Like, okay, great. That doesn't mean you've got ADHD. Okay? See a doctor. Okay? Difficulty maintaining focus, easily distracted. Yep. And, okay, so the thing with being easily distracted is, again, it makes me waste a lot of time. I will sit down to do something and will just start doing it, and out of nowhere I think, oh, I need to quickly write this down. So I get out a book and I start writing it down, and then I end up thinking, oh my god, I need to write this list. So I start writing a different list out of other things that I need to do, and then I suddenly need to start one of those things. So I'll go downstairs with the plan of getting something to do these things, but instead I'll go downstairs, end up having a conversation with someone, and then decide I need to go start something else. So I'll come back up, start something else, get sidetracked by something else in my room, and then 2 hours later realise I never finished what I originally started to do. And that happens just over and over again. And the thing is that it's impossible to catch yourself doing it until you just do. Because otherwise you wouldn't be getting sidetracked. Like, if I was aware I was getting sidetracked, I wouldn't go off and do those things. But my brain just like fucking throws that out the window, and it's just jumping from one fucking thing to another. And it just won't stop. And it's so frustrating when I realise and I just think, fuck, I wanted to do that fucking thing and I haven't. Again. And it's like, it's not something we do on purpose. Like, fucking hell. If you guys ever get annoyed at someone who has ADHD, just remember how fucking much we annoy ourselves. Like, just be grateful. You don't have to live with it 24/7. Okay? Fuck. Takes time to process information and directions. Seems like she doesn't hear you. Yeah, that is a big one for me. And a lot of the time it does take me a few extra seconds or even a little bit longer to actually process what somebody has said to me. And so much of the time someone will say something and I will automatically reply with, what? Because at first I genuinely have not understood it. 3 seconds later, my brain finally processes what they say, and I go, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. And they're just like, I thought you didn't hear me. And I was like, I did, but didn't, and then I did. Like, it's fucking weird, I know. Often late. Yep. Looks to be making careless mistakes. Oh god, and I try so hard not to. I try to be so particular with everything I do when I'm typing, and then I'll still go back and realise I've fucking written something wrong, or I've missed something out, or like it's so frustrating. It really is. Hypertalkative, has lots to say but is not good at listening. I can be good at listening. I'm a pretty good listener, but I also am good at talking somebody's fucking ear off, but that's also why I have a YouTube channel. Seems to get easily upset. Yeah, I am very sensitive, but my antidepressants have been helping me with that hugely. Like, I can't even explain how better I am than I was 2 years ago in terms of my emotional stability. Verbally impulsive, blurts out and interrupts others all the time. Sometimes I do it because, again, with the audio processing, I do not realise that somebody else is having a conversation. I just see the person and blurt out their name because I need their attention, and my brain hasn't caught up and heard that they're actually talking to someone or that somebody's talking to them. And then I look like a twat. And then once I realise that they're talking, I can't say anything because then I'll just be interrupting them again. So I have to just stand there knowing that I've just made a fucking cunt of myself by interrupting them. Like, highly sensitive to noise, fabrics, and emotions. This is also an autistic thing, like being overly stimulated, easily overwhelmed, yada yada yada. So it all coincides. It's very fun. Highly sensitive to noise, fabrics, and emotions. Definitely. There's a lot of times where I struggle so hard to do my job because I'm so physically uncomfortable. And I'll just be wearing a t-shirt, but like, I just want to rip it off because it feels like I'm just so over aware of every little fold and crinkle and everything touching me that I just want to fucking rip it off, and not in a sexy way, in a very horrific, panicked way. Yeah, it's not fun, and I deal with all of those things in my head. I don't sit there whining about it. I don't sit there being like, oh my god. Sometimes I do. Sometimes. I spend so much of my time, just so much of my life, uncomfortable, worked up, stressed out, overwhelmed, exhausted. Like, the list goes on, and it is very frustrating, and I rarely even say anything about it. Like, if occasionally I will make jokes about it, I will say like, yeah, occasionally I make jokes about this stuff because that is sort of my way of dealing with it, because I don't see a point in getting upset about stuff like that all the time. Like, yeah, fair enough, every so often I throw myself a little pity party and I'm like, oh my god, why did I have to have so many things wrong with me? But at the same time, I don't know how much of me I would still have if I was born without them. Like, how has it possibly benefited me or shaped my personality and character? And there's like a couple good things about ADHD. Overall, I'd rather not have it, but there is a pretty cool thing called hyperfocus, and that's basically like the total opposite of usual, where you get so stuck into something that you literally can't put it down. You can't stop until you feel like it's finished or it's done. And my colleagues have definitely picked up on it because I'm a nail technician, and doing nails is one of the only things that I can hyperfocus on. And I will basically sit there making nails or doing something with my nail art and my products, like practicing a design or doing a set of nails or doing something like that, and I will be there for hours if that's how long it takes me, and I won't get up. You know, unless the person starts talking to me, I will be like this. I will just be there like this. And like, my colleagues take the mick out of me for it. They say like, apparently they can literally stand by my desk saying my name and I won't hear. Like, I won't notice that someone is stood right fucking next to me because I'm so like into it. Or like, they take the piss out of like my facial expressions and stuff like that, and like, it is funny. I laugh at myself, but like, yeah, that is probably one of the only things I like about it, and that's, you know, that's fine for me. It works for me because I can make a living out of that. But for a lot of people, their job is not what they hyper-focus on, and their job is probably a horrific use of their time. Like, working in a shop, I've done that before. Like, I am definitely someone who is better being self-employed, and I am right now. I just rent a space in a salon, but sort of everything I do, I run myself. And I have been employed before. I've been a cleaner. I have been a nail technician in a department store, so that was very busy. And I also had to do sales and selling products and stuff. And people But I just thrive best when I am completely in control. I'm definitely a bit of a control freak when I need something to go my way, because when people do stupid things and are doing stupid decisions and are running things in stupid ways, I can't just follow an order like that I know is stupid, and I struggle with authority in that case, which I wouldn't if people in authoritative positions weren't making such dumb decisions. There's a wrap in there. Overall, I would definitely rather not have ADHD, just because, again, my biggest problem is feeling like I'm wasting so much time. I have 40 odd, there's an insect on the wall, I have 40 odd YouTube video ideas that have been going round and round and round in circles in lists, and I'm constantly rewriting lists and just going around in circles with everything, and it takes me so long before I'm finally able to sort of jump off and do something, and it is very frustrating because it makes me feel like it's my fault in a way, and that's definitely how I felt at school and at university, because I would get to the end of the week, realise I haven't done anything, like my homework, and I would sit there and just stare at it, and it would be like this mental block. Like, I would just stare at the pages, and it's like I didn't know how to string a sentence together. I never know how to start what I'm doing. I never know what the fuck. I don't know how to explain it. It's really fucking difficult, but yeah, but every single time I'd think, right, okay, I just need to get through this week in terms of getting away with the fact that my homework is fucking shit or half done or whatever the fuck. And every week I would beat myself up again because I hadn't done everything yet again, and I would spend every single fucking night staring at my books just with this mental block as the time just went on and fucking on, and I would just beat myself up about it, blaming myself, saying, fuck, why didn't I just try hard enough? I don't know, because every time I do try hard enough, I'm not able to. There's no... I don't understand. Oh, fuck. It's really hard not being able to keep on track, not being able to just stay on one solid train of thought. It's very confusing and discombobulating. I don't know what that word is. What's the word? I don't know. But it confuses me, and it gets me all worked up, and it gets me stressed out, and it embarrasses me, and I don't know. I don't want this to turn into some sort of pity party, because I am who I am, but I want other people who can relate to this to sort of know that it is okay to get fed up with having ADHD, because sometimes I feel like high functioning people with these sort of disorders and learning difficulties almost feel guilty for struggling, because it's like, oh well, people have it worse than I do, or people struggle more than I do, but that doesn't mean that we're still not struggling. It is something that a lot of people don't have to deal with, and you know, that is completely valid. So I guess that's the purpose of this video, and to hopefully maybe educate some people who have no idea what the fuck I've been talking about. And as I said at the beginning of this, I am very mentally disorganized, and please just always ask any questions, ask me to clarify anything if I struggled to, ask me anything if I missed it out, I will reply. Yeah, I don't know, maybe this whole video in itself gave you a bit of an insight. Hey little baby. But yeah, I tried Stratera, did not get on with it. Yeah, but I'm still on my citalopram. I very much like my citalopram. It does help me a lot, especially with my panic attacks. I used to get panic attacks a lot, and really bad ones. And now I only get them every so often. They seem to be worse, but they're less often. So I'll take that. I think I've rambled on enough for this video. If there's anything else anyone would like me to make on this topic, then let me know. I'm hoping this might start something on my channel. Maybe I can come up with some tip videos or stories, or I don't know. I don't know what you guys want from me. What do you fucking want from me? I don't know. But you can tell me if there is any specific requests. Okay, I'm going to end the video now. So, yeah.